Morning, it's Patsy. So I just wanted to pop on today and share with you some of the decks that got me through this dark period of time that I'm going through. And I found that I was looking for decks that was clear, gave me answers without too much thought. And of course, the first one that it had to be was the traditional Rider-Waite. It's not decks that have an awful lot in my collection, the traditional, and this one is the one that I use all the time. It's the Radiant. I just love the colours of this one. So of course this is one of the first decks that I would pick up to get myself a reading when I needed questions answered. So that is the first one. Now the second one I also used an awful lot during this time is this Might Hurt Tarot, but this one is the French version. This came out mass market a few months ago and I saw it on Amazon and I picked it up because I hadn't bought it before. I believe it's now out in the English version, but I have a few French decks, and because the images are so familiar, you don't really need the writing English. I mean, you can't read the book, but I can't read the books anyway because of my eyes. So this is a great little deck. The quality is brilliant. So this is another one that I pulled constantly. It just gave clear, quick answers that I needed, and not anything what made me stop and have to think about it. Just clear, quick answers. So that is this Might Hurt Tarot, and that's such a lovely deck. But like I said, mine is mass market, but it is the French version. So the next one that I found that I was using an awful lot, and this one I actually used for about 2 or 3 months for my daily draws. I didn't deviate from that at all. I just kept using the same deck. And this is the Vice Versa Tarot. Again, the images are so Rider-Waite. You just know what the messages are for you when you turn the cards over. There's no thought involved. It's just bang, bang, bang. There's the answer to the question that you've asked. So like I said, this one, I love this deck, and I use this constantly for my daily cards. 3 cards a day. I always pull 3 a day. And this is the one that I constantly was using. So that is the Vice Versa Tarot, and like I said, that got an awful lot of use. It's starting to look a bit battered on the sides, but again, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now one that kind of deviates from that Rider-Waite, and I don't know what it is about this deck, is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. And just like the name says and the description says, it's just one of those decks, even though it doesn't follow the Rider-Waite as clearly as a lot of them do, and there is name changes. This deck just hit home every time I used it. I use this an awful lot, and it's very intuitive, this deck, like the name suggests. And I just knew straight away what the message was. Even with the name changes, even with the depictions not particularly being Rider-Waite, it was a lovely deck. I still use this a lot, and I was using this to do bigger spreads as well as 3 card spreads, and you know, so this was a real help to me during those days, and that will always stay in my collection, like all these decks that I'm showing you will. But I did notice that I also got rid of a lot of decks. I had so many that I was becoming overwhelmed by the amount of decks I had. So I think I got rid of about 100, and I still need to get rid of more, because I don't feel like I need the amount that I have in my collection. I don't use them all. Now this one is the Santa Muerte Tarot, and this one I use daily, because this is one that stays on my ancestors' altar, and I get messages and talk to the ancestors through this deck. And I love this deck. And I used it constantly throughout them darker days to ask them to help and to get their replies. And it's just one of those decks I will never part with. It's just come to its own on this altar, especially through these difficult days that or difficult months that I've been going through. And this is it's very Rider Waite, so it's very easy to use, very easy to read, and yeah, it's just one of those decks that will stay in my collection now, and I used it constantly. So the next one that I want to show you is one that I've just the last 2 weeks started using from my 3 card a day, my daily 3 cards. And it's a deck that I'm reconnected with after a long time. And it's a bit busier, and it's the Shadowscapes Tarot. But this again for me is very intuitive. I forgot how gorgeous this deck was. And I'm really, really enjoying this one. Again, I pull the cards and I know exactly what they're telling me. Even though they're a bit busier, the images, and, you know, not so Rider Waite based. They are so easy to interpret and get your message from, and they're beautiful in this at the same time. So this is one that I'm using at the minute still, and I'm really enjoying reconnecting to that one. It's such a gorgeous deck. I forgot how gorgeous it was, to be honest. So that's one that I'm thoroughly enjoying working with. So now the other 2 that I'm going to show you are just my oracles. Now the first one that I want to show you is a deck that's not left my side. It is so versatile and so simple. I love it. And it's called When My Soul Whispered Oracle. And it's a little deck. It's smaller than a tarot size. But it's just a simple image with a simple word on the card. And these are so spot on. The little book with it is really good. If you need to read the book. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just pull some cards and get a message that way. But what I do like doing with this is choose a word for the day from it, or I should say, not give myself. I shuffle the cards and ask for what I need that day. And whichever one comes up, I will then pull some tarot for further insight, there we go, for further insight on what the message is from that particular oracle. Or sometimes after a tarot reading, I will just end it with one of these cards for an overall message. But this little deck, I would never ever part with. It has been through me through thick and thin these last few months, and I pulled from constantly on a daily basis. So lastly, I just wanted to share this last deck that I used. And like I said, I haven't used an awful lot of decks in my practice, because I didn't do as much as I normally would anyway, but I just wanted simple, clear messages. And this one is by Rockpool, and it's The Magic of You. Now this deck is so deep, and it didn't matter what the day was when I pulled it, the message it gave was always needed. It's quite a dark deck, and it goes in deep. The book, I always read the book with this one more often, well, not always, but more often than not, and get the message from the book. The book is well written and gives you good, clear, accurate message and advice. And this has helped me an awful lot, this deck. And again, this is one that I could never get rid of now. It's used daily. Again, it's another one I can pull some tarot either side of it and get a deeper meaning, or I can pull it on its own, or I can just pull it at the end of a reading. It's very versatile. So yeah, that is The Magic of You Oracle. It's a Rockpool by Fiona Horn, and it's excellent. It's a lovely deck. So that's all I wanted to do today, was just share with you those decks that have got me through this rough few months and continue to help me through, and how I've kind of reverted back to those traditional images that are so ingrained to us when we're through the learning stage and carry on reading, you know, that you can just pull a card and just get that message. And they've been so helpful to me, they will always stay in my collection. Thanks for watching, and if you've got a deck that you use constantly when there's days that you're not feeling great or in the mood for something too deep or whatever, you just want that quick message, what do you use? Pop it underneath. Thanks, bye.